I guess there were some that weren't.
Well, yes, indeed. And what I think this really shows is that the Prime Minister pays close attention to popularity polls, because a Conservative Home, which is a sort of a members analyst sort of website which talks to members all the time, Liz Truss, who is now the Foreign Secretary, often tops those sorts of polls. And there you are. She's been catapulted into a job that essentially puts her under enormous scrutiny, actually. She was at the Trade Department, of course, where she didn't always impress, in fact. You know, the department got a bit of a reputation as being the sort of control, copy and paste department, where many accused the deals that were done with Australia and other countries of being replicated from pre-Brexit deals. She, of course, would say that wasn't the case, but her main agenda will now have to be to repair the damage of the relationship with the USA because of what happened with Afghanistan, the sudden withdrawal of US troops, Britain being caught completely by shock, and the absolute chaos that ensued. And of course, that chaos, it may well have been the reason that Dominic Raab lost that job as Foreign Secretary. I understand he had a very home, actually, talking about Michael Gove's job, which is about putting together housing and levelling up, which is an enormous... Well, the Tories have been relying on older voters for many years, and they really do need to put young people back on the housing ladder and equal up opportunity across the country, no matter where you live from. So Michael Gove has been itching to get his teeth into something much juicier, and he is a very creative mind, not always popular, but certainly one of the most efficient organisers in government. So that is an enormous brief for him. What is a current theme, really, I have to say, is that no tears on the backbenches for Gavin Williamson going. I mean, many have just seen his chaos over exams, over tests, an enormous task of clearing up that education backlog now.
Ranvir, thank you very much indeed.
Certainly shows that the Prime Minister pays close attention to popularity polls that are done by Conservative Home and other websites that deal with, you know, Conservative members, because someone like Liz Truss tends to top those polls, actually. She's very popular with activists and grassroots Tory members required for this enormous job. Some saying that actually at the Department of Trade, where she was, it got sort of a reputation of being a copy and paste department, where deals that were already there were sort of repackaged and put out as though they were post-Brexit big deals. She, of course, would deny all of that. But her big issue is one that you've been talking about, this one, that relationship between the UK and the US that's been severely damaged, really, by what happened with the US withdrawal in Afghanistan and the chaos that ensued. So that is top of her in tray, and she will be severely tested by that. But of course, that issue may well have been the reason that Dominic Raab lost his job. He pushed for other jobs. He was sort of appeased with the justice job. And in terms of vision, it really shows you with Michael Gove. He's putting housing and levelling up together at the next election. Here's Henry Hill. But one thing that is consistent, I'm afraid to say, is that there appear to be no tears on the backbenches for the loss of Gavin Williamson. And for Nadhim Zahawi, who has now come into the education brief, you know, many say that he's a great communicator, he's got compassion, he's a good organiser, but of course there's an enormous amount of chaos around the education brief, of course, with the huge backlog during lockdown, the flip-flopping of school closures. So a lot for Nadhim Zahawi to do to win back the trust of parents and teachers.
Ranvir.